Hi guys, Aquaji here. Welcome back to another video and another Sam's Orgy season. We are on season 4, which is super exciting, of course. And yeah, I'm really excited for this season. Uh, let's just jump into it. We started, I think, 4 days ago today. Today's night, or we just finished the second immunity challenge. So I do have updates on kind of what's happening live for the second challenge and the second kind of big twist to the game that's happening. But first, let's get to the main twist of the season. One, there's going to be 6 returning players. Those are TN and Sub on one tribe with 4 newbies. So the way it works is 3 tribes of 6. 2 of the people on each tribe are returnees. So I think that makes it a nice balance. I was really worried when I heard there were going to be returnees that would just be really bad for the returnees. They would be outnumbered. But this is, like, we've never seen it in actual Survivor. We have seen on an 18-person cast, Edge of Extinction, we did see 4 returning players there, with 2 on each tribe of 9. But I think this works really well, and I think Survivor actually could go with something like this, where you have a third of the players are returnees, and then it's just more balanced overall. And yeah, so I really like this cast this season. Obviously, all 6 of the returnees are going to be big players, I would say, or at least you'll hear from them. They're not going to be super inactive. But also, there's some really fun people. So yeah, let's get into it, I guess. So first off, let's talk about the Nangfa tribe. So that is TN, Sub are the returnees, then Cooper, Jagger, Star, and Flaming. Now, I really like this tribe when I first saw this, and I actually was able to recruit a few of these people. And when I saw this group, I was just super excited. I actually recruited 3 of the 4 newbies on this tribe, so I'm kind of the proud parent of the people in this tribe, it seems. But yeah, so first off, let's start with TN. TN, I have him on my fantasy team. I think TN could go super far, just because he was season 1 player. He got 11th place, which is not the highest. The highest ranking player actually was Core for 8th place, and that's why I feel like Core could be an early target, even though he's not the loudest personality, but we'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, I really think that TN is going to be the farthest making returnee player this season, just because he's not a big personality, and the people we brought back from the pre-merge are big personalities. So, or a lot of them are. So we got a few. Oops. Yeah, that's what I think. But I think Tian's doing really well. He's survived. Well, he's making final 15, which is pretty good for him. Sorry, I got a cough, it seems. But yeah, I think Tian is doing really well, made really good social alliances. I'm pretty sure probably with everyone, but I have not heard anyone target him. But actually, I'm looking at his confessional right now. His number 1 for his trust ranking is Sub, who's our next player that I want to talk about. So Sub is interesting. Now, Sub is, of course, one of those big players that I think, and also Sub as TN as his number 1 so far. So I do think that there's a good chance that these returnees are actually going to work together. I was a little bit worried for certain players that the returnees, they would just target each other and they would both just be eliminated. But I think the returnees both are, or all of them are smart enough to realize they need each other. They really need each other if they're going to make it far in the game. So I think that's going to go well. And if they make like a 6-person alliance, that could be super powerful. If they make a swap or a merge, something like that. So yeah, so Sub is a very loud player. We definitely saw that last season. He was one of the biggest players, but he got sent out pre-merge, a little bit before the merge. But he was playing really hard, and once again, I would say he's playing really hard. But he's I think his threat level is not too high that he's going to be eliminated early, and also he too has won the challenge yet again. So I think Sub could be in trouble going into a swap. Like if he's with TN, if it's Sub and TN, I definitely see Sub going home if they get like swapped on the same tribe and they're both one of them's gonna go. I see Sub being a bigger threat, and TN could actually use Sub as a shield, which I think will be interesting to see. But yeah, so his alliance chat is pretty long, or not his alliance chat, his confessional. So yeah, lots of going on with Sub right now. But they've made it through episode 2, their final 15, this whole tribe. So moving on, we have Cooper. Now, I really don't know much about Cooper. He hasn't done too much with confessionals, and he hasn't had that much, but he has played in a few ORGs, it seems, or at least one. So I think Cooper could be one that we see being an under the radar player that maybe makes it far. Maybe a Panda, maybe like a Daniel. That's somebody I would equate Cooper to at this point, because he's making the swap, and he's not going to be targeted during the swap. So I don't see Cooper going pre-merge unless something happens, but I think Cooper is going to be fine for a while. He's made it through this first part of the game where he would be targeted, but really there's bigger personalities. Pretty much everyone on his tribe is a bigger personality than him. So I don't see him being in trouble. But not much to say with Cooper. He's not winning. I don't think he's winning. Maybe he wins. We'll find out. But that's what I got to say about Cooper. Now moving on to Jagger. Jagger's somebody I invited into it, and he was, when I played with him, I thought he would be an interesting character. Also, he's subbed to my YouTube channel, so that's how I got in contact with him about playing in Season 4. Also, you should subscribe to my channel, by the way, if you haven't already. I do content like this, and it really supports the project if you were willing to subscribe. So if you're not already, be sure to do that. But anyway, I think that Jagger could do well, but he is one of the bigger players on this tribe, it seems. And from what I've heard, he's kind of trying to, let's see. Yeah, he wants to boot the returnees early, I think. And let's see, what else is he up to? I feel like he's made alliance chats with people. He made a 3-person alliance with Flaming and TN, which seems like it's going well. Maybe, but I'm not sure. I do need to do a little bit of reading, I think, but yeah. So that's what I gotta say about Jagger. But he is being a big personality, so I could see him being targeted. Moving on to Star on this tribe. I think Star's doing really well. Let's see. What does he say? Okay. Oh, okay. Star says he's not too hot on Flaming Cooper Jagger on his tribe, so it seems like he likes the returnees. So if he gets in with that group, I think that could be good for him. He's got those 2 big returnee players as shields. So if he does go that way, I think that's pretty good. But yeah, I think Star he hasn't done anything that set himself apart that's been really dangerous for him. So I'm saying that Star has a good chance to do really well. I think Star could win, actually. Star's pretty good. So yeah, moving on to Flaming. So let's see. Okay, Flaming's trust list. For number 1, he has Jagger. And number 5, he has Star. So that's interesting. It sounds like Flaming and Star are kind of on opposite sides at this point. But we'll see how that goes. Again, TN at number 2 on this trust list. Sub at 3, Cooper at 4, Star at 5. So for Flaming. So I think that really tells you how everything's going. Also, I guess I could get my top 2 in terms of for each tribe. Maybe I'll give a top 2. So for this tribe, I'm going to give number 1 to TN and number 2 to Star, just because Sub's a big threat, and TN should be a big threat, but he's not at this point. So I think TN's playing really well. Definitely glad I picked him on my team. But yeah, Flaming, I think, got in trouble. They got noticed for knowing, who was it? I think it was Ego, who we'll get to. And I think they tried to do some scheming and it didn't really work out. So that's where we're at with Flaming. Moving on, but these guys are all safe, so anything could happen going into the swap. But those are my top two, Tien and then Star for this tribe. Those are two players to watch, and I think those are two players that definitely could win at this point. Moving on to Laka. Let's see. So we've got, starting off with Bagels, who, oh my goodness, Bagels is insane. Also, he uses, let's see, how many lines of confession? He's definitely doing a lot of confessionals, and he's also making a mini spreadsheet to document the rankings, or not the rankings, the leaderboard, the ranks, levels for this season. So let's see. Oh my goodness, Bagels is at number 1 for the season. Okay, good for him. And let's see, how long have I been talking? Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, we're doing well. I don't think I'm going to be editing this video really much. I'm just going to have it like this, and I'll do my intro and outro. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, though, so yeah, Bagels at number 1 with 536 messages already. I'm at number 4. Pretty cool. Let's see. Second is Alex or Envious, and then 7 is Phones, and then 8th is Sub. Well, okay, this is just I'm getting a little bit off topic, but those are a few of the players that are doing the most talking at this point. So Bagels is doing well at this point, and I said preseason I think Bagels is going to go out pre-merge, and then he's going to be the first merge boot. He's going to get 11th place. I still see that possibly happening. Maybe he doesn't get voted out, but I still think that he's probably could be a merge boot, unless something else happens. But so this is a tribe that's actually going back to tribal for a second time. Last time they voted out King, who was the first boot, 18th place. And King was just really inactive, and he was kind of clear boot. Nothing really interesting there. Let's see, on this tribe, Bagels is super active. He kind of carried that first challenge, it seems. But yeah, I do worry for Bagels, but at this point, Bagels is playing well. But he has a spreadsheet to keep track of levels, but he doesn't realize that he is the number 1 level getter. So he's probably the biggest threat of anyone in this game at this point, and I think that could hurt him going into a swap. But we'll see if he can navigate it. He does know Core a little bit. I mean, I have a connection to Bagels. I have a good connection to Core, so maybe those two will link up, but we'll see. Anyone moving on to Barry, who is one of the newbies. So Barry hasn't done that much, but Barry has made a few chats with people, but it hasn't gone too well for him, and I could see him being a boot here just because he hasn't done that much for his tribe. He's kind of the most inactive at this point, which could see him going. But at this point, I think it's really in control of the returnees. Again, I don't really have anything to say for Barry. He's kind of a middle-of-the-road, somewhat inactive player. Maybe like a Furret, I don't know, or from last season is what I'm thinking maybe, but or like an Allen, maybe. Maybe he'll get better over time, but we'll see. Anyway, moving on to Ego, who is returning. Yeah, so Ego has noticed that a few people, well, Renji, who we'll get to, was a little bit suspicious earlier in some of the messages he sent, and some of his mannerisms. But yeah, I think Ego's doing well. Ego is a strategic player, but I don't think he's one of those super loud players. He does have a lot of confessionals, but not the most of anyone on the season. So I think, and yeah, he's got Bagels as his number 1 ally. Number 2, he says, is Bryce, who we'll get to. And he's got Renji at the bottom, and then Barry at 3rd. So I think that's probably a good indicator at this point of what's going to happen with this tribe. So I think Renji is going home next, who we'll talk about in a second. But at this point, Ego and Bagels do have an alliance, which is good for them. And yeah, I think they're probably both going to make a swap, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, moving on to Bryce, who is somebody that I'm really excited about. So let's see. So Bagels, or no, not Bagels. Getting confused with the B names on this tribe. All right. So Bryce. Bryce is that person that I think is going to be the Lynx of the season, like last season, who got 4th place. I think Bryce is making the merge. I think he's making it really far, unless he gets swap screwed, which I don't know if it's going to happen. He is on the bottom of the, well, he's going to be on a 4-person tribe if he makes it through this. There's going to be 4 people from this tribe, but I don't see him getting swap screwed because if he's with another player that's a bigger threat, or even somebody that's less active than he is, I think he's playing the perfect middle ground game, and I could see him winning actually if just a lot of stuff happens and after after the dust settles, there's no returnees left, and it's like final 5, him, Barry, and oh, I don't know. But I don't know. I could see him winning. So I think Bryce could heat up his game and make it really far. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Renji. So Renji, let's see. He says he trusts Bryce and Barry. So it seems like he wants to try to get out the returnees at this point, which could go well for him. I mean, it only takes 3 numbers, and the returnees have only 2 people, but it's just a matter of trust. And I don't think that anyone trusts Renji the most, so I could see it being Renji at this point if they make a coalition against him. He was kind of playing too hard, it seemed, early on. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I see Renji going home or Barry, but Bryce, for me, is... Oh, top 2 for this tribe. Top 2 for this tribe, I'm going to give number 1 to Bryce, and I guess number 2... I'm going to give number 2 to Bagels. And a close third to Ego, just because I think Bagels is playing more. I think he's made better relationships probably at this point. So I'm saying Bagels has the edge. But yeah, moving on to C. Okay, I don't want to mess up the pronunciation of this tribe. Si Muang tribe. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's confusing because there's no vowels in the second word. But okay. Anyway, let's start off with Lucas, who is a returning player. He got, I actually voted him out, so pretty cool for me, I guess. But anyway, he is, let's see, okay. So it sounds like he wants to vote out Arid at this point. I don't know why, we'll find out, but yeah, I think Lucas was a big personality early on. First day, like second hour of the game, they got in the voice chat, him and Core, and it was really funny. It was great. They had a great connection early on, so I think they bonded over being returnees. So I think that's going to carry them both far, but it could be dangerous for one of them. And I'll get to Core in a second, who I'm excited to talk about. But yeah, Lucas is definitely a big personality. But yeah, we played Among Us, like the second hour of the game, and it's pretty funny. Lucas is definitely hilarious. But yeah, we'll see how it goes with Lucas. I feel like he could be seen as somebody that's playing like a lot or just being very loud of a personality. But I do think there are a lot of loud personalities on this season. And as I was going through, like seeing, okay, who's not a loud personality that's going to make it to the end, I wasn't finding too many people. But I think that probably one of these not super loud personalities, such as TN, I'm thinking maybe Star, maybe Bryce, maybe Envious, Arid, and Caroline are, for me, my top winner contenders at this point, just because they're in that middle ground, upper middle ground, I would say. And I think one of those 6, I think that I mentioned, is probably going to win. But we'll see. It could be a over the top person that might win. But yeah. Anyway, that's Lucas. Here is Quor. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, okay. Oh wait a minute. Oh, okay. So Quor, his number 1, he says it's phones, which is interesting. Number 2, he has Envious. 3rd, he has Lucas, actually. And Lucas has Core at number 1, so that means that Lucas really trusts Core, which is really good, even if Core is a bit wary of Lucas, so I think that's good. I think Core could do well. I don't know what's happening this tribal, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Core plays this because I've talked to him a little bit about what he needs to do. I told him you have to make alliances with the returnees because that's going to be your best bet. Um, and also try to be friendly with everyone and don't trust one person too much. Pretty much, that's what I told him. And I think he's doing really well so far. I'm thinking he learned from the last time, and he's being, again, like a really chill person, but he is contributing to his tribe. Now, he is going to tribal, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if he's able to not be voted out, because technically, I mean, not exactly, but technically should be the best returnee, or at least the most threatening, because of his placement and how recent he was. He was last season. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Core plays this. I'm hoping he can make it past this vote because I think if he makes a swap, I think I think he could be good because if he's with another returnee and he tries to link up with the returnee, I think that could work. If he tries that plan, and also if he's with another returnee and then there's people trying to vote him out, I think he could be seen as less of a threat than people like Sub or Bagels or Ego and even Lucas. So yeah, I think Core could do well, but we'll just have to see if he can make it through this tribal. And also, my prediction for Core's placement is going to be 10th place. We'll see what he gets, though. One second, I'm taking a quick break. Okay, this is going to be pretty much just like an audio thing. I've been talking for 20 minutes. I could make this a whole podcast, actually, probably. Maybe next time. But anyway, let's see. Okay, Arid. So, Arid is good, I guess. What do I have to say about Arid? Oh, I think Arid could do really well, actually. So Arid is playing pretty well, and he's playing pretty under the radar, but he does have some strategy going on. He is good friends with Envious, so they've got like a really tight duo. I think he wants to maybe try to vote out the returnees, but I'm not sure. So yeah, Arid is a big question mark, and he's kind of roasting everyone in his confessionals. Uh, Maybe trying to seem cooler than he is. I don't know, but I think he's doing well. I don't think I don't think he seems like the biggest threat or the worst player on his tribe. So I think that's a good spot for Arid at this point. I do have Arid on my fantasy team, so that's pretty good, or my draft team. But yeah, that's Arid. All right, moving on to Envious. Oh, okay. Um, anyway, so I think that okay, I'm trying to read this because Envious says that Envious is voting out Arid, which is a big shock because they were a tight duo. But we'll see. Maybe they're not such a tight duo, but I think Envious is a really good player. I think Envious could make it far. Maybe fulfill the prophecy of Alex and get second place again. But yeah, I think Envious is a good under the radar player. So we'll see what Alex does this time for this vote. But yeah, it should be interesting. Moving on to Phones, who is a big personality. Let's see, his trust list. Okay, he has Core at the top, which is really good for Core. Again, I think Core seems like he's going to be safe this tribal, so that's good for him. Phones is kind of loud and he's very talkative. It seems like he's made a few social blunders, but I think he's been able to make enough relationships and make enough friendships with his tribe. We saw that with Core. We saw that with Lucas also, that he's in his top two. So I think those three working together could go very well. Moving on to our last player for now, we've got Caroline. Caroline seems to be the most or the least active person so far, but I don't know if Caroline's going to be targeted. I think again, Caroline, it's kind of a thing where you can pick players that are not the best players or the not super active, and they will go really far. And I think that could happen with Caroline after this swap. There's definitely a few people I mean, the first person voted out always seems to be generally inactive, or such, but for the first like pre-swap that happens, the first like 3 votes of the game. But after that, those inactive players are not getting targeted unless it really benefits the other players. And normally it doesn't benefit the other players to not target um, a good player. I mean, you want to get out the best players early so that you have a better shot to win. But yeah, I think Caroline could make it far, but I don't think Caroline is winning. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. Top 2 for this tribe. Okay, I'm gonna put number 1 as Envious, and I guess number 2 is Core. I think Core is doing well, so that's good to hear. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for watching this. Be sure to subscribe, like. This has been going on for a while. Next time I might do like serious rankings. We'll see. But this is fun. I've done a whole talking about this. But yeah, I'm excited for this double boot, and then we're gonna go into a swap at Final 15. Sorry if that's spoilers. Sorry, production. Also, I'm in production now. If you didn't know. But yeah. Oh my goodness, I have 300 DMs on Discord. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been AquaG. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.